Hello my dear friends, so again from the forest and with my very busy assistant Luna, always with me. It's really dog god, always with me, and I appreciate actually her presence in my life. Today I would like to talk about a concept that is maybe a little bit strange or not so obvious to catch up, and it's something that I realized yesterday by reading the notes of my yoga teacher Prasad. And to tell you what about it is, it's about completeness, being complete being. I know that for a very long time I was always teaching about the gap between our private self and public self, which is like the gap between who we think we are when we are alone. I sometimes call it like a toilet self when we are alone in the bathroom and we feel not always like great. There is always something that's missing. And then the public self, it's kind of the image that we want to give to others so they perceive us maybe in some way like peaceful or like successful or like I don't know, young, whatever you feel for yourself that you want that others see you like. And I know that for me very often people thought that I'm like outgoing and optimistic and energetic, you know, and successful and talented. And when I was alone, I felt more like pessimistic, even sometimes like depressed, and not really good enough in anything, not truly using all my skills, not finishing the things, so beating myself. And more this gap between who I think that I am and what I would like that other thinks about me, or the image that I want to present outside, more the gap is bigger, then there is this hole inside of us that we feel empty, and we try to fill it with something. So it can be work, activities, distractions, shopping, food, alcohol, drugs, sex, just think it and name it, and that's it. So when we are in this kind of pursuit, we are never really satisfied for a long time, because the desires and the desires are endless, and this hole inside of us, it's like bottomless. So the both are just feeding each other. Now with the yoga and yoga path, I learned that our true self, like Atman or Purusha, is like this perfect, divine, eternal self that is beyond everything. And for me, for a long time, it was like, okay, if I'm on yogi path and I practice and I learn about myself, and it's asana and meditation and breathing, and self-study and self-work and honesty, one day I will realize this Atman, this true self, beyond my mind and beyond all the concepts. And I was hoping that maybe with a lot of patience in this life, I will sit in meditation, and then suddenly there will be this light and this realization, and I will know that I am Atman. Okay, you can laugh because it's actually quite funny, but I truly believe this, and it make me go like for years on this yoga path, that one day this miracle, this light will happen. So far no, so far it's just the concept. Okay, so I can tell to myself sometimes, okay, this doesn't matter, you know, this is just the body, this is just the hair, this is just what I'm doing, this is just something stupid that I said again, and whatever people think about me, this is all okay because I am Atman. Okay. Now, yesterday, I was reading about this notion of being complete. Completeness. I don't know if in English we pronounce it like completeness, but that we are already complete. And actually Prasad was explaining that if we part from the point that we are already complete, that there is nothing missing, whatever we do, it's from this point of, okay, I do it because on the way of doing this, I learn something about myself and I refine my way of thinking and being. And I'm not doing this for the need to complete myself or fill this gap, fill this hole that is inside of us. And if I look back on my life, I'm thinking, yeah, for sure, I did a lot of things from this point of, okay, I'm doing this because it has to be done, it is my duty, and on the way I learned something on myself. But also I did tremendous amount of things to fill the gap, to feel the feeling of worthiness, or better say the lack of worth that I feel. And sometimes also to get some attention or to get some affection or get some approval, you know. And like 3 years ago, I had this kind of affirmation that I have nothing to lose and I have nothing to prove. And it was really very, very helpful because it's true, finally, we don't really possess anything on the lasting way or in the lasting way, because everything changed. And I lived experience when within few weeks everything what I believed that I had, I lost, and it was big stress in my life, and not only in my life but of all my family. And I think that there is also some lesson behind all these experiences, and maybe also what we are going through now with COVID. It teaches us somehow the detachment from what we believed we are and we have. And for many people also from what they do, especially if they identify with what they are doing as profession, and maybe now they cannot really do it. And maybe it will take a time before they can do it again. So, you know, it is like really losing ourselves, losing our identity. So it's like identity breaking in 1,000 pieces, and we have to rebuild some identity. But also maybe you realize that behind all this identity, in relationship or in our possessions or in our profession, in our roles, there is something more. There is something that is never changing. That behind all this, we are this complete being already. That there is no some part that is missing. And if we have to do something different, and if we can do it without being needy of this approval or appreciation or attention, we are much more in the peace and in the freedom to be and do what we feel like this is something we have to. So there is no small job, there is no small action, there are all this action leading to some learning about ourselves. So I realized that actually I did it for nearly 15 years in opposite way. I was doing, hoping that I will realize something. And now I'm just thinking, wow, I'm complete. No piece is missing. So how can I be and how can I do the things if my starting point is this feeling of being complete? And before I decide now to do something, I take the moment, because I can, we are in confinement, so there is no hurry. And I'm thinking, if I'm complete, or because I am complete, how can I do it from this perspective of completeness? Okay, so this is just like thought, like what if you are already complete? What would you be, do, feel, think right now about your today, about your tomorrow, about you within 1 year? I know that there are many, many questions running in the head of many of us about the future. So I don't know if this can help in some way, if it speaks to you. But if yes, please don't hesitate to share with me, because it's not just about the job, it's also about our relationship, it's also about our energy, it's also about our motivation, intention. And I think that if we are living from the point of I am already complete and I have nothing to lose and nothing to prove to nobody, and not even to myself, there is no more stress, there is no more exhaustion, because there is not this run to fill the gap, to fill the black hole inside of us. And there is much more peace and freedom even in confinement. So I wish you a nice evening. Stay home, stay safe, even if somebody say different. Be responsible for you and for your loved ones, and see you tomorrow.